Warning, Hebrews Toys Reviews is not intended for children. It is for adult collectors and the people over the age of 18.
Hello everybody, Hebrew77 here, and today I will be talking about the history and toy review of Mr. Potato Head, and how if it weren't for Mr. Potato Head, there would be no Hasbro. So let's dig in today, and let's talk about potatoes. I guarantee we're going to have a spud of a good time. Boy, that was a bad spud. Oh, pun, I mean. Pun. Pun. Budly history of Mr. Potato Head. And as you can see here, what is the measure of a man? Is it the gallant stride and his blue plastic sneakers? I'm not going to read all of this, but we are going to go over the facts, just the facts. Here we go. Mr. Potato Head was conceived in 1949, the brainchild of Brooklyn-born toy inventor George Lerner. Lerner originally came up with the idea of inserting small pronged body parts into fruits and vegetables to create a funny face. Man, you see, World War II had just ended and times were tough, which is why folks like Lerner often took potatoes and other sturdy veggies straight from the garden, creating crude dolls for children in the family. As a child, Lerner reportedly made potato dolls for his sisters using other fruits and vegetables like grapes, carrots, for facial features. Oh, using grapes and carrots for facial features. Okay, I get it. But although Lerner's idea made sense at the time, some frowned on the practice of wasting valuable produce as the war raged on. Eventually, a food company agreed to pay him small licensing fee to distribute his packet of plastic potato facial pieces and as a prize in their cereal boxes. Lerner could have called it a day at that point, but he was confident in his starchy creation that he showed the idea to two brothers, Henry and Merrill Hansfield, who conducted a small school supply and toy business called Hansfield Brothers, later shortened to Hasbro. Oh, wow. Maybe you've heard of it. Yeah, I think we have. The brothers were intrigued by the unique product, so they paid cereal company $2,000 to stop production on Leonard's plastic parts and bought the rights to the toy for $5,000. Mr. Potato Head was officially born on May 1st, 1952. So, ladies and gentlemen, I got something to tell you. First of all, let's go back here. Ew, like that. So, here's the thing. Mr. Potato Head, this guy who invented Mr. Potato Head, was solely responsible for the creation of Hasbro. So if it weren't for Mr. Potato Head, we wouldn't have got such fine products as G.I. Joe. And I'm going to edit this later, but we wouldn't have got such fine products as G.I. Joe, My Little Pony, the Care Bears, Transformers, Yeah, I don't know why I went straight to My Little Pony after GI Joe when I should have went to Transformers. But anyway, I just thought that was an interesting story to tell you. And now on with the review. This is my potato head collection. And I'm sure, as you'll see, these potato heads look much different than the potato heads that you remember as a child. And they'll probably look way different than what Lemire had in mind, or what Lemire's original potato head was back in 1940. Well, shit, if I... Shoot, sorry. If I can get these glasses to stay on him. Okay, well, no, that's a little crooked. Anyway, that's not going to happen. I'm going to stand him up here because these are slightly bigger than G.I. Joe's or He-Man figures. As you can see right here, I've got a plastic mustache on Mr. Potato Head. However, these potato heads from the late 70s, early 80s had felt mustaches, eyebrows, and even sideburns that came down to here. These are two Mr. Potato Heads, although you could get all of these parts for them, so more than likely you had more than one Mr. Potato Head. You had two, so you could dress one up as a woman, one up as a man, and then you'd have Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head. Of course, much later you would get this variant of potato heads. Mid to late 80s is when this variant would come out, and this would become the standard potato heads that we actually have today. Let's look in the can here. You can see potato heads had many parts, couple occupations. The two most popular occupations would be fireman, which also came with the vintage potato head as well, or police officer, which did not come so much with the vintage potato head, but the vintage potato head came with a farmer's hat or a sombrero, which I always thought it was funny to dress him up in the sombrero. And yeah, this might sound a little bit racist, but pretend like he was a Mexican potato ole, I guess. This variant, the new generation of potato heads, as I would like to call them, instead of having sort of like a square, oh my eye, what are you doing? Don't worry, I'll return it. Instead of having a sort of slitted piece that you would put in and into these slitted holes, you had round holes, as you can see with these, that you would put the features, the facial features into, whatnot have you. And not only that, but with the addition of arms now, you have the added feature which you could put accessories. You could clip on accessories onto their hands, as opposed with the old way, the accessories would have to clip onto a little slitted spot on the pants accessory. In this case, being Mrs. Potato Head's dress, you would have a purse. It would have a hook on it. You would slip that hook. You would slip that purse onto the hook. As with the arms, let's see if I have an example. Okay, well, you could snap little things onto the arms, and they also had that arm is not having it. But anyway, as far as potato head variants, these are the only potato head variants that I own. Slipping her flower here onto her arm. I don't know necessarily if I would want to get I don't know necessarily if I would want to get like the cucumber potato heads or the other versions of potato head that were out maybe like in the 40s or 50s. But I thought that would be interesting to show you to read a brief history of it. And you can see these older potato heads had pegs on the bottom for feet, and what you would do is you had these shoes, and the shoes were two separate shoes instead of one clumpy shoe like this one. So you would peg the shoes onto the feet like this. Son of a gun, he keeps getting away from me. And of course you could put pants on him. Let me show you. Now you have a Mr. Potato Head fireman. It's got the fire hat. Unlike with today's potato heads, which you would have to put on a belt if you wanted them to become a fireman or a policeman, or even just simply slip on a hat. There you go. And of course he would have a belt that went across the bottom here, and you would do that by taking off the shoes, and of course the belt would come on and slip through the armholes as well. I do not have the fireman belt, but I do have the policeman belt. Now you have Officer Potato Head and Fireman Potato Head. They're ready for action. Not sure exactly where this thing came from, but they also had like these little potato heads. I just happened to put shoes on him. Maybe McDonald's or whatever, but I call this Little Spud or Baby Potato Head, and I just sort of put him on these big shoes. You know how little kids sometimes like to wear their mom or dad's dress up like mom or dad. So there you have it. That's really all I have to say about the potato heads. For those of you that probably didn't know existed these potato heads, I'm sure you're very interested in this. You can get these older potato heads on eBay fairly cheap, or at least when I got them. Of course, that's been a long time ago. Get them fairly cheap. The most missing piece, there's two most missing pieces. One of the missing pieces is the pipe, which Mr. Potato Head no longer comes with a pipe. There was even a pipe for this more modern potato head, but it was a green pipe, and I can't find it. I think it's in my other bucket of accessories. But yes, the pipe was discontinued, I think sometime in the 90s when they wanted to sort of convey, no smoking, kids. Not even fake plastic pipes. Sorry. I think that's about the same time they got rid of bubble pipes. But they have brought back bubble pipes, so I'm not quite sure what that is. But the most missing pieces are the pipe and the felt sideburns, eyebrows, eyelashes, and also he came with felt mustaches. This is a plastic mustache I have on him. Notice that once you have all their accessories off and you stack them just so, and this Charlie Chips can, which is a joke in itself, they fit quite nicely. And you lit it. Well, sort of. And looks like I'm going to have to rearrange that. Does it for this review. Camera's tilted slightly. A little history on the Mr. and Mrs. Potato Heads. You got to see some of the older potato heads as long as the newer potato heads, or as well as the newer potato heads, I should say. And yeah, if it wasn't for them, we would have no Hasbro. They were sort of the Lemaire guy was sort of the entrepreneur of his day, if you were, and you know, he met with Hasbro and they got the ball rolling. So there you have it. That's all I got pretty much to say about that. Oh, for my next review, we will be reviewing the Prince Adam Sky Sled with Prince Adam, of course, and that will be on the next review, so look out for that one. Until then, this has been Hebro77 saying, knowing isn't just half the battle, it's the whole damn war. See you next time.